When people are released from jail, they have the responsibility to appear in court. But some of these people choose to go on the run.
They go back home to mommy.
And that is when these guys come into the picture. So sit back and listen to the Off the Hook podcast with Chad and Rob.
Very fine people on both sides.
These are real stories, but the names have been changed.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Rob.
I'm Chad, and this is
Regina.
How you doing, Regina?
Hi, guys.
I'm so glad you took the time to come down here, not this really cold weather. I'm sure you got some bad weather up there.
It was really nasty.
Yeah, we didn't get it got a little iced over here, but
not much,
but nothing.
Yeah, nothing to get
We got like
crazy
snow, ice. Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah, I'm not
ready for spring.
Yeah,
Me too.
I'm ready, really ready.
Ready.
So, all you guys at home listening, Miss Regina here has been a really good friend of mine for many years, and Chad. I met, but here's the thing: I met Regina through her husband, and also through the conferences that we were going to.
Oh yeah,
like I worked with her husband many years ago.
Yeah.
He was electrical foreman on a job that I was doing up in Elizabeth City, and I was the foreman for the fire alarm system out there.
okay.
So that's how me and him got together, because we were working together a lot. So, and then when I met, Regina here, we put two and two together. It was awesome. I mean, we've done some stuff together in the past. She's helped me out a lot, I must say. So,
You've helped me too.
oh yeah,
Works both ways.
Bouncing back and
Yeah.
forth.
yeah. So
So she is a board member
yes,
of the NCBAA,
I am.
and they are very needed for North Carolina bail agents.
absolutely.
And so,
I wish it wasn't so far away, man. I would.
I was on the board, and I would have to drive like 3.5, 4 hours every
Yeah.
time I would attend a meeting. So.
Yeah.
Little kids I have at home, that was difficult to do very frequently. So anyway.
So Regina, since we finally got you in here today,
Finally.
so we're gonna let her tell a story this time around. But before we get into that,
Let's hear about the NCBA and
let's hear about that, what you
everything that goes on there.
Okay. So I'm actually in my 4th year as a board member.
damn already.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta get you close. There we go.
Is that close enough?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
better.
So I'm in my 4th year as a board member. I sit in a room every few months. We try to listen to everybody's ideas, try to take everybody's issues, problems that other bondsmen are facing, and try to make it better for everybody. We have a lobbyist, of course, that goes out, tries to change all these laws, make them better, do whatever we can. It's not easy because not everyone thinks that bondsmen are necessary, unfortunately.
Right.
But we understand what that fight is. So
I have a question. Have you? Maybe I'm putting you on the spot, or maybe you don't know. To me, I think it needs to be a more of a application process to become a bondsman. Have y'all looked into that at all?
we have discussed that. We do think it should be more of a lengthy process, more in-depth process to become a bondsman.
More
because it
training,
is very easy.
Because Virginia, you have to go through
Yes.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, even for the bail enforcement in Virginia. I'm also licensed there, and even that training was a week, and it was incredible, the amount of things that we had to go through. But it was very, very well received on my part because it's just so much more information. So when you go out into the field and you're working, you actually work with law enforcement. You're not seen as the other side, and you have a whole different level of respect, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's. I've seen the way different states have done it, and I'm like, hey, why don't we do this? So I'm kind of hoping to see the state do something like DOI and you guys, because the NCBA they're really I think they have a good working relationship with DOI.
Yes. Yeah, we actually do. They don't necessarily like what we have to say, but we have a really good relationship with them.
That's good.
We bounce a lot of ideas back and forth. If they want something done, a lot of times they'll come and talk to us, and we go back and forth the same way.
So what's your job on the board?
Basically just to represent, bring everything forward, and then review, make sure it's going to work, not just for everyone in the state, but also for my area as well.
Right.
So I'm in Johnston County, so I want to make sure that anything that the bondsmen in my area are talking about, I bring that back.
I'll tell you what, Johnson County now, let me tell you something about Johnson County. It's right beside where I'm from, Wilson. And Johnson County, there's some wild folks out there.
There is. Yeah.
There's some wild folks out there. And then because you also cover like Harnett.
Yeah.
And,
Harnett, Wake, Johnston, Nash.
Oh, yeah. Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nash is wild too.
Yeah. Nash.
Yeah, it's right there next to where I grew up.
Yeah.
You know, so, awesome. All right, so now we're gonna kind of go to your story. We're gonna start getting to your story a little bit here.
Okay.
All right. So what was their name?
We're going to call him Steve.
Steve. Okay. So Steve, where was he wanted out of? What county?
He was wanted out of Craven County.
Oh, yeah, that's Newbern area.
Yeah, Greenville.
Oh gosh.
Newbern, yeah.
Oh man, we've done some stuff in Newbern. Newbern, man, I love the sheriffs up there.
Micah, if you're up there listening, buddy,
hey,
what's
Micah.
up, Micah?
Hi, Micah.
Okay, so with that being said, I've got
Setting the tone for Steve here.
Steve. Here we go, buddy. I don't know if y'all can hear this. This is great.
Oh, this is perfect.
Okay.
Now, let's don't make fun of George too much. I do like some of his music,
Oh no, he had great music.
but he did play for
The other team.
yeah. Yeah. So
Much like Steve.
much
like
like
Steve,
Steve.
that's
That's the
Spoiler alert.
that's the reference.
Spoiler
Okay,
alert.
spoiler alert. Yeah.
Okay, and you'll get this. I promise you'll understand why we did this.
Right.
All right, so
I think they already got it.
okay, so Steve. All right, Steve wanted out of Craven County. How much was the bond?
This particular bond was $50,000.
Ooh, that's a lot of money to
Steve
be.
did something bad, didn't
Yes, he did.
What did he do? Was he?
This was actually for probation violation at the time.
Okay.
He had violated multiple times. He could not provide or produce a clean urine sample. Could not stay at one solid address. Couldn't keep in contact with anyone besides his mom. So yeah, he decided he was gonna
Mommy.
head out.
Mommy
It's
always.
mom.
Mom always hides him.
They go back to mommy.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
All right, so once you got the forfeiture, how fast did you jump on it?
Pretty fast. Now, I will say in the beginning, we typically try to give everyone at least a couple weeks to get situated. So,
Right.
Yep.
backstory on Steve is he had been bonded out by my agency several times over the years. It's not just somebody we pulled out of the ground.
Oh, so he's just like
He was established. So
Okay.
he was pretty well known. We spoke to him initially. We were able to make contact. He said, "Okay, I'll talk to my lawyer. No big deal." After that, everything totally changed.
Yeah. You never know which one's gonna. You can bond them out several times, and
frequent flyer.
yeah, the one that's
Right.
gonna send them. Oh, I'm facing a lot. I think I'm just gonna
Yep.
get out of Dodge.
Yeah, after I've turned down some bonds. I'm sure you have too, of regular people who have gotten out, and after a while, you're like, all right, bro, all right,
Yeah.
we got to
Yeah.
stop because
Yeah, I can think of one off. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Got
it's
to
just
know
getting
when to
bad.
cut it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Steve, all right. So it's been 2 weeks. What do you do?
At that point, then that's when I really wanted to start increasing contact. I wanted to drive. I wanted to check the house. I get there, house is abandoned, completely abandoned.
Doesn't that feeling suck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally was like a sinking feeling.
Yeah.
So we just start beating the street, trying to figure out, talk to his friends, figure out where he might go, who he might crash with. Everything was turning up dead ends. Mom, however, of course, was in contact with us the whole time. Oh no, he's just taking care of himself, or he's trying to get it together. Always an excuse, but tried to make it sound positive.
Was
Right.
mom the co-signer?
She was not the co-signer.
Who's
Who
co-signer?
was?
He actually had his former boss, which I didn't know at the time was a former boss. I thought they were still a boss, but he was kind of like a childhood friend. They grew up together and then became his boss later in life. Yeah, so they were very well connected. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's gotta suck.
Hope boss made good money.
Yeah. So what led you to after that? Like, how did you get up to the point
How
of
did I
finally?
start the hunt?
Yeah. How did you
Right.
start?
Yeah.
So So I'm always invested in social media. I try to watch everybody's pages, Facebooks, Instagrams, everything I can.
Right.
Well, I noticed that he is very friendly. He's also always single, for lack of a better term. So he was known to hop around a bit. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I start checking out his Instagram one day, and I see that he had saved a little video and added a link to a Grindr account. Which, yeah. So I don't know, whoever's not familiar with that is actually a dating site, particularly for men who are like other men.
That's why I played George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I, of course, have never had to use this app. So with any typical catfish, I set out, got my bait ready, set up an account,
So did you
and cast it out.
did you find a gay guy to help you out with this, or?
During the time I did, I had to consult a couple of my friends and say, hey, if I was going to hit on you and I was a dude, you know, what was something that I might say to catch your attention? Like, it can't be the same as you hitting on a straight girl as a straight man. It has to be different. And so they did give me some pointers, and yeah.
So
From there.
The pointers worked.
Yeah.
So when you put all this in place, right, and you got it set up, and you're actively hunting, right, and he reaches out to you, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I know that feeling, like, oh yeah,
I got him.
The puzzle pieces fit.
Got him on the hook. I just gotta reel him in.
That's it. And the whole time you're worried because you're like, all right, what happens if he stops
Yeah.
communicating or stops?
Yeah.
And it can always take a whole left turn because people want to FaceTime, right? They want to FaceTime you. They want to
Yes.
look at you. They want to make sure you're real.
You got to be legit.
I want to hear your voice. So
Yeah.
then what do? Obviously, what am I supposed to say? So I'm like, hey, my husband was totally out. He's like, don't even come at me with that shit. He's like, don't even come at me with that shit. So
Hey, Shorty.
Come on, man.
he
Team
had
player.
no parts at all. So I had to consult with a friend of mine, and I had everything set up for that, but luckily he was fine with texting.
Okay.
He was good with texting and
okay.
instant messages, sending pictures back and forth. I saw a lot of things I didn't necessarily need to see, but I did.
We all have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I've done that. It's another story I actually need to tell. I got a guy up in Virginia, and he sent me. I was catfishing, but he sent me a picture of his Johnson, and I was like, "Oh God, I did not want to see that this morning."
Yeah.
What is it with dudes that want to do that? Like,
Dudes are so quick with it too. It's completely as a female, it's always unsolicited too. You wake up and there's like a penis in your inbox, and I'm like, why is there this picture?
are you not impressed?
It's like, come on.
Dude, don't you shave? Oh my God!
Oh my God, it's amazing. Some guys are so confident. But
Oh
anyway.
God. Oh, all right. So after you done, so where'd you get pictures from? Like internet?
I just went through and started Googling. I was looking through Instagram, and I was literally Googling like really hot gay Caucasian male. And so I was getting like ideas like, hey, as I would talk to him, what he was be into. I found a nice little looking guy, little bit of chest hair, very clean cut. Got some different pictures of the same guy because that's very important. Got to keep it
Right.
consistent.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
I had vacation pics, I had work pics, I had it all.
All right. So you did your homework.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
did your homework.
Yeah.
$50,000. You gonna do your
You
damn
gonna do
homework.
a lot of homework.
So he bought it hook, line, and sinker,
He was
right?
on the hook for sure.
So how long? Once you got him, once he was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
How long after that did it take to talk to him versus to where you found like where he was at?
I want to say I probably wrapped the entire case up within a week. But I will say that midway, I did realize that he was no longer in North Carolina. And that was a huge kicker because then while I'm scrambling to keep him on the hook, right, I also have to think of the other side and be like, okay, now what the hell do I do to get the pieces together?
What state's he in?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got to follow every state's.
Yep.
Rules.
The laws
So where
for
did you
everywhere.
go?
So he actually was in Nashville,
Oh,
Tennessee.
Okay.
Tennessee.
Nashville. I love Nashville though.
I really wanted to go, but it was so much easier for me to call one of my really good friends. His name is Mike. He was a bondsman in North Carolina for a really long time, and he worked with me on a ton of cases before.
Yeah. So you know Mike.
I think so. He's
Mike Molina.
Oh yeah. I know Mike. Yeah.
Excellent. I'd work with him on anything to this day. But so basically, I'm still talking to him, and then I'm starting to talk to Mike. I'm like, hey, could you help me out? He's like, sure. I have some free time, no big deal. So I'm talking to the guy, and I've got Mike on the road and figure out where we're gonna link up and set everything up.
So you set a hotel up.
Yep, I did. He thought I was coming into town for work, that I was a traveling businessman or whatever. I don't remember what my exact occupation was, but
you make your occupation whatever is good for him.
whatever fits, baby,
whatever you like.
I mean, I had to be appealing. I had to make money. I had to, be
you gotta
single.
play the
I had
whole
to have all
thing.
the cards.
Yeah.
So he thought I was coming into town, and I was like, hey, I'll get a room. Just meet me there when I get off my flight, whatever. So then, I was coordinating with Mike, and I'm like, okay, how long are you going to need? And he would tell me. We'd go back and forth. Oh, well, I had a little delay. I'm here hung up. I had a layover, but I'll see you in a couple hours. Cool. So I get the hotel, pinpoint everything, research the hotel entrance, all that.
Right.
Guy walks in. Mike's already pulling in. Guy walks in the lobby. Mike literally walks in right behind him, calls his name, and tells him he's a bondsman. He's into custody.
Any struggle?
No.
No struggle.
No, nice.
Did he get the
Yeah.
like? Oh
You're like,
shit!
hey, I'm supposed to meet my boyfriend here. He's like, no, you're not.
It's not happening today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man,
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
I loved them ones.
Yeah.
That was a great. There's actually me and Mike and Eric that writes bonds with us. Went and got a guy. That's another good story I got to tell. Up in Greenville, he hit us with his car head on.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, Mike's car actually. I was in the car with Mike.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And so we got him.
Nice.
Man, that was that's a
saw
good.
Mike
Yeah.
this past summer at a PI conference. So
Yeah.
he has his PI license.
Yeah, he's down in South Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah. And Gina, because Gina used to write with us.
Yep. Gina used to work with us.
Okay.
So I every now and again I'll he'll say something to me like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Blah blah blah. That's good. Well, how's speaking of your hunters, how's Chris and Terrence? Are they doing anything still up there with you?
Yep, they do. We do a lot of work together.
I do. I knew you did back in the day. I ain't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
We talking about Chris Burgess?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But he has a lot going on too. He's a realtor now.
Yeah.
He also went back to a full-time job. So I tend to call them in when I have a case that's kind of pressing, or, hey, I need someone that is going to fall right into this category. Let's go.
Yeah, I know they got in some mess a while back ago
They did.
too. And that's one thing I hope that none of us ever have to go through.
Absolutely. Yep.
They went through hell.
Yeah, they did. Luckily,
So-
it all worked out great, but it was hell while they were going through it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I remember Chris telling me about it.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. So, what do you since what happened? Like, all right, so you get Steve, you get him in handcuffs. Does Mike fly him back, or
Drive.
he drives all the way back?
Drive all the way back. And he is a rock star when it comes to driving. He literally got on the road, grabbed him, got right back on the road. There was no, I was like, you don't want to rest? You don't want to stay at the hotel? You don't want to,
Right.
nothing.
Did he drop him off at the first county to come across?
Well,
Nope, he took him all the way back to Craven.
he probably didn't want to spend the night with Steve.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And Mike's a cutie, so I'm sure
I don't
he
think
would've-
Gina would like that.
He'd be like, Steve would be like, hey, Mike, will you whisper like sweet nothings in my ear?
Let me go. Let me borrow that key.
Yeah,
You
right.
can you can speak Spanish to me. Okay. Oh, I love it. Oh my God, I love it. So now let me ask you a little bit about bear reform up in your area. What are you seeing
I'd say-
throughout the state? Being on the board, you'll see it throughout the state, your area, because we see it in ours. Are you seeing a lot more unsecured bonds now?
a
still?
lot more unsecured bonds, and surprisingly, they're unsecured for things like domestic violence.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
That was supposed to have been anything violent related was
Right,
not supposed
exactly.
to be.
And
Yeah.
now it's starting.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
weird.
Yep. And I'm also seeing too, when we take them back, their bonds are being set lower.
Yeah.
I think you talked about that in another video you guys did.
We had one in Chicago
The Sovereign.
Yeah, it was a 25. It should have been a 50. And they
It was a 50.
It was a
And they
50. It
put
should have
it
been
to
100.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And they lowered it. And like, you know, I talked to somebody in a DA's office. I'm like, did you not see what we had to go through to get them back here and what their bond used to be?
I don't care.
And they're like, yeah, somebody screwed up. That's what they told me. You know, like, yeah.
So in North Carolina, I know because they don't want to tackle bail reform on
State level.
a state level. They do it judicially
Districts.
through the districts. Do you see more districts, like more rural districts, are not doing it as much as the?
There's definitely a difference. So a probation violation in Johnston County, for example, could be 10, 25, 50,000 just for a simple violation. Nothing crazy, not absconding. But in Nash County, for example, that could be $2,000. It could be $5,000. So there's definitely a difference.
We're seeing some of that here.
Yeah.
Do you see more people not going to court now up in your area?
I think it's still about the same. We have a really high FTA rate. A lot of bonds we write are FTA bonds for that reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, because a lot of them probably were unsecured.
Yep.
And then they failed.
So the FTA, if you guys at home don't understand what an FTA, we've talked about it before. It's failure to appear. So you just didn't go to your court.
Everything's abbreviated in our world.
Yeah.
You know, because it's so long to write out.
Yeah. So with that being said, with the NCBAA, are y'all like bringing some of these cases up, going and showing the state, hey, look, this ain't working?
Yeah, we definitely look at the numbers from different areas. Excuse me. We try to get information from the different areas so we can take it directly back to them and say, hey, we got to figure something out. We need something more uniform, something that's going to work for everybody.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you can tell me or not. Now, has the board talked about doing something different when it comes to like recovery agents?
We have entertained the idea of doing the two separate licenses. Actually, DOI really wants that, but
Really?
I don't know if they can manage that. I don't necessarily feel that. Do you guys feel that DOI is appropriate to regulate that?
I think the Department of Public Safety needs to.
That's what I was thinking as well.
You know, I understand the DOI, and I got nothing against them because we have a great working relationship. We just had an audit, and we passed flying colors. And but when it comes to, like, I got a buddy of mine who's an agent with DOI, and he was telling me he goes after like the actual insurance companies. That's what he does. He doesn't do much with bail bondsmen anymore. He used to, but you know, DOI, they've got so much going on. But Department of Public Safety would seem like it would be more
Fall
fitting.
under that umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the verdict on that so far? Is that something that
really hasn't gone anywhere? But I think more and more cases that are coming out where the bondsmen are, you know, we're getting involved with shootings and getting hit by cars and chases and things like that. I think they're starting to pay attention a lot more. Yeah.
I mean, hell,
I don't want to say that they don't realize possibly how dangerous our job can be, but I think that now they're starting to see it a little differently.
Well, if they need to know, tell them to come talk to me and tell you about the one in Greenville.
Yeah. Because, the law says we have to take them back to jail by any means necessary, right? So we have the right to do that.
Right.
But I don't think until more recently they've started to pay attention to what that actually means.
Well, it's a good thing to hear that somebody's finally paying attention.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I mean, like I said, Chad and you, how long have you been in business?
10 years.
Okay, so yeah, I've been in business as long as you have.
Yeah.
Chad's been in it for 26, 27.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Chad also, you know, did it old school style, but he also learned how to.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier, like how when I started, you didn't have the internet as it is. You know, you had that dial up. You know, you got mail. You know that mess. You know, and like so you didn't have all these law enforcement agencies that reported, you know, things like you have now. I mean, have it so good, which I think is kind of, you know, when you've had it rough, so to speak,
Right.
Yeah.
and then you moved, but also the crime has moved with the digital age too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
you definitely have to be on your game to keep on top of people.
I said it this morning. When he retires, I'm retiring. I ain't doing this shit by myself.
I'm leaving next week, and he gets the phone.
God, I don't want it.
So I take all the calls and send it to him. So it's pretty been weeded out by the time he gets it. You know, but I have to deal with all the the fun calls. I'm sure you're aware of.
I'm very aware.
You know, I've got $100,000 bond. I got $100.
Yeah.
You know, put me on a payment plan.
At 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
and they've called you 3 times in a row.
And they start in on you like it's not a hey, I'm sorry to call you so late.
Yeah.
Or, am I bothering you? No, it's like straight into I need to get this person out. You need to get them out. Blah, 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 and like
I don't have patience like Chad does, and I'm like I said, I'll be over there jawing, so mad on the, but I won't say nothing because I'm trying. It's a company name. I'm not trying to make it bad.
Right.
they're gonna
But
go
man,
screw you up online.
I'm like, are you dumb? Are you just completely dumb? Like I'm like, Argh. I get so mad. And then finally, when you get one that's like can talk some actual sense, you're like, oh, cool. I can have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one way we kind of weed them out. If you can have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But sometimes you.
Well, when they
get
miss
fooled.
court, it's not going to get any better,
No.
right? You're
Right.
dealing with this worse.
Yep.
So
Well, Regina, thank you for coming down. This is awesome. I'm glad you got to come down.
Happy to be
A
here.
board member from the NCBA. That's what I'm talking
Yay.
about.
Keep doing good things.
Yeah, y'all
Thank you.
keep me up to date. Let me kind of know what's going on, like
will.
with some of the stuff. I know we're down here like in the corner in North Carolina.
Yeah, they like come into our continuing education classes.
Yeah, because we're at the
Because
beach.
we're at the beach.
Of course.
Yeah, at the beach. Why not?
It's all good.
So yeah, I appreciate you coming down. And too bad you didn't bring Shorty. I would have loved to see him.
I tried so hard, but that snow messed him up completely.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
He's a great electrician.
I know. We were building our house. I called him about we couldn't
Oh,
get a
yeah.
power box.
Yeah.
You remember it was a shortage during the whole thing where you couldn't get windows and doors for houses and stuff like that. And we couldn't get a power box and like nowhere.
We almost had him
everywhere.
bring one down.
Nice.
Yeah, he was looking for me. I don't think he could find one either.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I miss Shorty. I'm going to have to give him a holler. But while you're here, let's go. What time is it? It's almost lunchtime. We can grab
Let's go
something.
hang out.
Let's go get something to eat before you take back off to Johnson County.
Johnston County.
Johnson. My uncle was a retired ALE officer from Johnson County a long time ago. He used to bust moonshine stills
Wow.
back in the day, back in the 80s, 70s and 80s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he retired. Then he became an officer, a detective in the Clayton PD. And remember when at Bojangles, when these two cops were in the drive-through and the drug dealer was in front of him, and he got out. Anyway, something happened, and there was a shootout, and it killed one of the officers.
The female officer.
The female
right?
officer.
Yeah.
That partner. That was my uncle. That was.
Oh, really?
That killed the guy. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's Billy, Uncle Billy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's been a long time ago.
That has been a long time ago.
Wild.
Yeah.
Clayton wild too now.
Clayton is wild. Clayton is
All
wild.
right. So
Hey, we can keep going on and
No
on.
crap.
So yeah, we're almost done here. So, Regina, thank you for coming
You're
down.
welcome.
It was so
Thanks for
awesome to
having
see
me.
you.
Thank
Keep
you.
us up to date.
Will.
So, if you like what you hear, you can listen to us on Spotify. If you like to see us, and you can see our ugly, me and Chad's ugly face, and you can see Regina's pretty face. You can check us out on YouTube at Off the Hook Bail Bonds Podcast. But until then, I'm Rob.
I'm Chad and
Regina.
Yay! We'll see you the next time around.
see ya.
You've been listening to Off the Hook with Chad and Rob. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And be sure to follow us for notifications for another exciting episode. But in the meantime, you can go to our website at www.offthehookbail.com to see more. So until next time, stay out of trouble, or it'll be you that needs to get off the hook. See you soon.